All right, so I want to talk about natural language programming, what it is, how SidePC uses it, and how it can help you make effective applets that actually do work for you. So, the right way to think about what's actually happening here is when we add instructions into our chatbot window, what I want you to think about is that we're actually creating a program. We're sending a computer instructions. And although we may be typing in English, we are sending a computer code. Okay, now it looks like a sentence, but again, it's code. And if you can kind of get over that hurdle, that will really help you internalize and think about what we're doing here is we're actually writing computer programs that just happen to look like English, but they still execute and they still ask and request a computer to do something for us. Okay, so again, we're going to talk about natural language programming here. Now, again, when I run this initial demo, my instructions are tell me a joke about a cat. So again, this is my program. My program here is tell me a joke about a cat. All right. Now you'll remember when I click the second item in my demo, now we get the option to choose. And in this case, the user is being given an interface element that is allowing me to adjust those instructions that I'm delivering to the chatbot. But again, I'm still delivering a program to the chatbot to tell me or to tell it what it should be returning to me. Now, what's really interesting about SidePiece is that it allows you to create quote unquote complex AI applications. So I'm going to open one here and show you how it works, and then we'll take a look at the back end so you can understand and dissect the various elements that goes into a natural language program. All right, so I'm going to click this item here, and I'll show you in a future video how you can actually install this and play with it yourself. But this is an Excel Basics, essentially quote unquote textbook that I use for a few of my classes. And so I'm going to launch this here, and what you're going to see happen is it launches into this intermediate step again where we get our forms based input. So in this case, I have a couple different items that I can select. So again, we're teaching, this is an Excel kind of textbook. And what we're going to do is it gives us the ability to select our chapter. So in this case, I can select any one of these chapters to tell me something about Excel. I'll select the lookup revolution because I'm interested in lookup functions. And then I can select a learning goal. So I can have it explain to me the topic. I can get an example, common mistakes, exam tips, practice problems, all different types of content. And we'll just say, let's say I've already learned all these things and I want to get a practice problem on this topic. I can pick my experience level, so this will adjust the complexity. We'll just say I'm completely new. And then if I wanted to put some open text in here describing some specific issue, I could. I know that there's different lookup functions. So there's H lookup, there's V lookup, there's X lookup, and let's just say that I'm confused with V lookup. Don't worry if you're not familiar with Excel. This isn't super important, but just to show you that I can provide different types of inputs. And then what is going to happen is I'm going to click process, and this entire prompt, and I'm just opening this to show you what was actually put into the chatbot, is added as a quote unquote natural language program. And what it now gives me is a practice problem specific to VLOOKUP that I asked it to. So now it's giving me a practice problem directly related to the VLOOKUP function. Cool. So now obviously I could have come and I could have typed that directly into the chat window and maybe got something, close. But what's cool about this is very quickly, with just a couple of very simple configurations, I get my content that I was looking for, and I don't really have to think. Okay. Now let's look at the back end to really understand how a natural language program works. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to this application. I'm going to click that pencil, which will bring my app to the applet editor. and I'm going to actually expand it so we can see it in its full glory. And as I scroll here, you will see what this prompt looks like. So this is the full natural language program, and you can see that it's pretty long, but as you'll see, if we look at the basic pieces, it's pretty simple. So while it's got some complexity to it, as I guide you through this, you'll see that this really is designed and constructed the way a traditional program is constructed. It's just constructed with English. So the first thing we do with our natural language program is we tend to assign it a role. So in this case, we're saying it's an experienced Excel instructor. Makes sense because we're trying to learn Excel, right? Okay, so then we're going to get some teaching instructions. So this is where we're actually going to construct our inputs. Okay, so those form-based elements, if you actually look here, this is some short code for actually constructing that forms-based element. And we'll actually go into more detail on this, but you'll see that whenever I have a double bracket, that is me defining a specific input on my form. So you'll see here that this is actually where I'm selecting my chapter. It's a drop-down menu, as you saw, and then here's actually where the chapter name appears. Now this has got a little more complexity, which is why it's so long, and again we'll go into that in future videos. But that's as simple as it is. I created a drop-down with my various chapters. All right. As I come down, you'll see that we had our learning goal, and I'm defining that here because we've got that double bracket. It's got a radio button, and I've got the various items that I'm selecting, so I can explain the topic, show me an example, and so on. So again, this is a natural language way of defining those interface elements that a user can select. Now what's key to a natural language program is you'll see over to the left of each one of these interface elements, I actually define kind of a variable name. So in this, the chapter, I'm defining this as the current focus area. And I will actually use that definition, the current focus, in other areas further down in my program when I want to use it. So when I want to refer to, hey, give the user content related to their current focus area, the program will remember what I've selected related to that current focus area, and then when I use it further down in the program, it will actually remember and be able to give me the correct content back. Okay? So we do our variable definitions, and then after we do that, we go into actually telling the chatbot what we want done. So in this case, I actually have an if statement that's going to say if explain the topic was selected, then it's going to provide output instructions for what type of content it should deliver the user. Okay, so you'll see that it says start with a clear beginner-friendly explanation, say why it's useful, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we're giving it basic structure around how the chatbot should be delivering content to the user. I've got another if statement for show me an example. I've got another one for practice problem, and so on and so forth. So I've got specific outputs for each one of those selections. We've got exam tips. And then I've got some general rules that basically try to put a bow around how the content should be displayed for the specific user. So you see that this is not a program written in code, but it has many elements that a normal program written in code does. I'm defining variables. I'm using those variables somewhere in my code. I'm providing output instructions, and so on and so forth. So again, this is a program written in natural language, and this is the coding language that SidePC or SidePiece works in. So it's very simple to actually code these things. And what we'll do in the next video is I'll show you how you can actually create one of these very simply by using an application that's actually pre-installed in SidePiece. Okay, so we'll see you in the next video.